Hello and welcome to CEO's Projects. Today we're going to see if I can revive my dad's dead flashlight. So, to start off, this flashlight just doesn't work. And when you plug it in to the wall using an adapter, the light on the actual adapter shuts off fully. So that is with it plugged in, that's with it unplugged. What it should do is it should go to a red LED. So we know that something inside of there is bad. So we're gonna see if we can still bring it back to life. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is take this thing apart without destroying it, which we should be able to do because I'm assuming there's screw holes under here and I don't really see anything else besides maybe the lens here. So let's get it started. Open the Strabito set. Alright, so we got all 4 screws out. So that just pops straight out. It looks like there's just some styrofoam and what looks to be a 1S4P lithium ion stack. You can see the 4 cells and the wire, which makes this very easy to deal with actually. So there's literally nothing else inside there. It's literally just charging module, batteries, LEDs. I mean, I thought there'd be something more, but no, that's really it. That means I honestly, I could probably in a later video take this and quadruple the capacity by using some 21700s that I have left over. But to see if it's dead, since all these cell packs, since the cell voltage should be the same, if this is under 3.2-ish volts, that could be the reason why. So we're gonna see if it's dead because of the batteries. Interesting. The batteries are at 4 volts, which means that, yeah, they're at 4 volts, which means that this should work. So then why isn't it? Let's see. We use a flashlight to see inside if we can see any burning. No? Ooh, actually. No, I don't see any burning. Why isn't this working? I mean, you get absolutely nothing when you press the buttons. This looks like it slides off. So, and this is connected. Yeah, so all the batteries are connected, so that doesn't make any sense. Why it's not just working. So that means that there actually is something genuinely wrong with it. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so we have the main LED, which looks like it goes up to their screws. I mean, the LED doesn't look burnt out. There is some little amount of film left on the back of this, but it doesn't look like enough films to kill the thing. I might go grab some wires to test the LED. So we know the battery's good. We know the LED's good. I'm assuming these on the bottom are good. This is interesting. Is there a way to take this apart? No. Alright. I'm gonna go grab a soldering iron to desolder this stuff so we can start doing stuff a lot safer. Alright, so of course, safety first. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the battery from the circuit just so I can fiddle around with anything and make sure I'm not going to start a fire. So, always disconnect the positive first, because the positive is what carries the voltage forward. So now it's just a cell back. So with that done, we're now going to also take off the LEDs, which it is marked, so we are good for that. I think it is a battery problem. I think it's actually a button problem, not a battery problem. Alright, so we have that desoldered. And let's not desolder those just because I don't know where those go yet. Alright, so we got that stuff desoldered, safe. Because this, since it's literally just a button to turn it on and off, we can utilize that for other stuff. Like I might be able to throw it on my skateboard. So, keep those on. Ideally, it would be great to harvest this stuff just because these LEDs are very bright, and the fact that it uses a single cell means that you can easily put together a very, very, very large battery. And it also has a power bank attached to it, so it's a free power bank if I save it. Okay, so we just took that out. It looks like I'm gonna have to pop off this top to get to where the buttons are, which I think is the main problem. So that's just something that you shouldn't do. Use a Phillips head screwdriver as a prying tool. Almost got it. I assume this is either glued on or it's supposed to pop off in a special way. I mean, it does slide out right here, but it doesn't want to slide out. So, yeah, I think we might have to go with thinner. I think it's glued on. All right, we got it open. Now we just gotta crack the shell. All right, so that took a lot longer than I like to admit, but we finally got the button panel out, and apparently it is a lot more than just LEDs and a button. There's an entire circuit on the back, which, by the look of it, is perfectly fine, which raises even more questions. So, let's dive even deeper. Okay, so we finally have the module, the control module, which, looking at it, I don't see anything except maybe one transistor that died? Can't really tell. It's in the middle. It's the only one with a little bit of a weird coating on it. I guess one thing that I can definitely try, well, this we know is a charging module. So we've already won. We've already picked up a charging module. This, we might be able just to power straight off of that. It'll be a little bit sketchy, but it should work. So I'm going to go grab some wires. All right, we have our testing wires. Thankfully, we know what's positive and what's negative. All right, we have our two wires soldered. This is the positive, this is the negative, and we're gonna see if we have life. Ooh. Okay, so we have life, it works. Now, I have absolutely zero clue how to control these. Now, I don't know if this had a different diodes inside of each of these diodes, like different colors inside of each of these diodes. I probably should have soldered it to the battery pack. Alright, so now we have the wires soldered to the battery pack itself. We're going to see if we can power this LED strip with just this. So it looks like they all have common ground. So they all have common power, different grounds. So, I mean, the power. So, I mean, let's see. See what happens. So, that looks like it goes to. Okay. That just. It It connected for a split second, and this wire got exceptionally hot. Whoa. Well, my retinas are burned, and I almost just burned my hand. Ain't that great? Wow, it's bright. You know what? Okay, for safety, and so I don't do that again when I get my eyes burned, we're just gonna... Yeah. Okay, so we now have it soldered directly to it. So L1 gave us the bright lights. Let's see what L2 does. Blue, red. Oh, what? Okay, so L1 is white light. Ah, it's so bright. L2 is blue light. L3 is red light. Okay. And it just plugs in and works. So that's really it. Okay, so let's desolder this. Let's get it off of there. Okay, so the parts that we have left, that we know work 100% are the main LED, the LED strip. We don't know about the charging module, but I can test that really quick, just by plugging it into the battery as per normal. And I can go and grab a portable charger that I have to see if it charges. So, alright, so we have the battery soldered. We are plugging in the USB, and hopefully this will charge, because that means that the charging module is good. Interesting. Just making sure it's the charger before I get rid of it. I'm just gonna make sure now it's not the cord itself. So it's not the cord. So I think that this died because my dad, like the flashlight we have over there, likes to leave stuff charged in constantly, and when you do that, the charging module on here gets overloaded, and it can only be hot for a certain amount of time before it fries itself. And that makes sense why the battery was still good, because it was charged up, but it was at 4 volts, not 4.25, which would normally be. So I think that this might be perfectly good. No clue what this even does, if I'm being honest, just because it makes no sense. Oh, now I know what this does. So what this module does is that once the button is pressed, it's going to maintain a constant source of power to the lights. It's not like a switch. Well, no, it acts like a switch, but it's a button. Ah, that makes a lot more sense, which will also explain why this thing was fried. Because one of the buttons was to turn on the lights, or one of these, the two of these on the sides help turn on the lights, and the one on the middle, that one is probably what's keeping that continuous charging through. So that's why it fried, because it was on for way too long. Yeah. Alright, but, I mean, we couldn't save his camera, case in point, but we can definitely get our money's worth out of this. So I think in the next video that I do, we're going to take this and this, and honestly maybe even this, because this is really easy to work with, and slap it together into a new flashlight. And honestly, I might even ditch this battery pack just so I can have a much better one. And I also do have some 5-volt charging modules, so I should be able to utilize, utilize this stuff. So there you go. I mean, that's it. So we now know it was, maybe I should just solder that actually. Does it mean that's constantly open? Good. Alright, now we can get back. So, the only problem that this thing had was this charging module, which makes sense because it was left in for so long and just plugged into the wall. I mean, this was probably plugged into the wall for a year or two just straight, which probably is the reason why this thing died. I mean, it's not super high quality. I think it was like $10, $15, but the LED on this thing is pretty crazy, and the LED strip on this can do multiple colors and different stuff. So honestly, with a bunch of switches, which I do have, I can easily wire this thing up to work really well. And with a 3D printer, it should be perfectly fine, because if this thing overheats, it's gonna melt the plastic and not my hand, which I like that a lot more. So yeah, I think the next video is going to be me turning this flashlight into a zombie flashlight with 3D printed parts and a much larger battery pack. If I can't, I might just end up using this, but yeah. So thank you so much for watching. It sucks that we couldn't bring it back to life, but we're gonna turn it into a zombie next Sunday. Hope to see you there. Bye.